Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some Terminus Zombie Survivors, shall we, and do a complete beginner's guide for this game. I've been playing this game a ton, both on my PC and on my Steam Deck. It works great on Steam Deck, by the way. And I wanted to make a guide to help new players get into this because it's a very fun game once you understand some of the basics and the mechanics and the overall philosophy of the game, which I actually had wrong at the outset. So in order to do this, I have created a new profile here, and we're going to start from scratch together. I'm going to boot up a brand new game with no unlocks, and I'm going to guide you through a game. We're going to do a multi-episode series here where we try to get to the Terminus and win our first run. And I'm going to explain the UI, the controls, some tips and tricks, some strategies, and my thought process as we play the game together so that you can understand everything, but I'm not going to be spoilery or min-max and say this is exactly how to win and cheese the game on the first day or anything like that, but rather just kind of explain the fundamentals so you can enjoy Terminus Zombie Survivors at your own pace. And what we're going to do then is start a new game. You can either play along or just watch and see if this is the kind of game that you'd like to play. I am going to put a link to the Steam page in the description below if you want to check it out. So when I do new game and when you do new game, you only have these 3 occupations starting out. You unlock more occupations as you successfully complete the game with different occupations and meet other requirements. So you can start as a soldier, a firefighter, or a police officer. And these are all reasonable starting choices. I feel like the nice thing about the soldier is that they're just good fighting, which means they do a ton of damage and can kill zombies very easily with whatever weapon that they have. They start with a knife, which is great. I actually like the firefighter quite a bit. They start knowing the location of all fire stations, and they start with an axe, which you can use to open locked doors and windows. But what's also cool is that they have this perk called Rescue Expertise, which means that at level 1, you get a condition reduction of axes and crowbars. So the axe that you start with reduces its durability 40% less, and you can even get up to 85% less at level 3. This is important because in a lot of ways this game plays like Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that doesn't make sense unless you think about it as your weapons are all going to break. Everything that you get in this game, your armor, your weapons, they're going to degrade and eventually break, and you have to either fix them or find new ones. You're going to be swapping weapons all the time. Now, guns don't have durability, but they do have ammunition. So you're going to need to be managing your weapons and your clothing, your armor, your bags, everything, in order to make sure that you're in one piece as you work towards the end. I would recommend either starting as a soldier or a firefighter. A police officer does start with a gun, which is really cool, and they're better at hitting with it, but you only start with 6 ammo, and then if you don't have any ammo, you're not in the best spot. So either go with the soldier or the firefighter. I'm going to pick the firefighter just because I love having an axe that lasts forever. And once we do that, you go over here to this right panel, and it tells you you have these starting stats. Now, these starting stats are also determined by your starting occupation, which you can see where it says initial stats on this tooltip. And not every occupation has a starting item. For example, like the student, I don't believe they start with anything, but they start with some perks and information or unique abilities. So pay attention to what you start with, what your unique ability is, and we also know where all fire stations are, and there's different places that can pop in the game: fire stations, clothing stores, general stores, police stations, grocery stores, etc. And these all have loot tables or guaranteed items that would want you to go there. For example, the fire station has a fire truck, and it has fire axes and things like that, which are nice, especially for a firefighter. But you might not find one conveniently on your path to the exit. So once we are selecting our character, we can rename them, and I'm just going to rename this character Incomp Tutorial. And you can change how you look from the top, which is kind of fun. You know, you're just changing your top-down appearance, and I think this looks just fine to me. And then you get 3 points that you can distribute to your stats. One of the strengths of Terminus Zombie Survivors is the UI, and mouse over everything in this game to see what it does, and it's incredibly useful. So you can mouse over the information here about stats to see that the minimum is 0 and the max is 1. You cannot subtract anything from your initial stats when you start out, but you get 3 to distribute. And if you mouse over strength, it says when your strength is high, you can carry more things. So this means for every 7 units of inventory weight, your movement is increased by 10%. So this is basically the encumbrance system. And if you go over this inventory weight, you get encumbered, and it starts to give you less AP to move around. However, if you raise this strength, then for every 8 units of inventory weight, we can carry more. So I, as a new player especially, like having a huge strength because it just lets you carry more stuff, which is incredibly useful for not having to worry too much about knowing what everything does. You can just kind of sandbag a lot of stuff up front and have tons of utility because you can carry lots of different tools for different jobs. And then health is phenomenal because it gives you more AP every turn. We'll talk about AP and how that works in a moment, but basically every turn you get a set amount of action points that you can do before you have to pass the turn, and then the zombies are going to take their turn and do what they want. So the more of these, the more things you can do, and that just seems better. So if I put 2 points here, then I get 12.5 AP recovered every turn. And I like this stat distribution myself. As a starting out player, which is just full strength and health. Like, it means you could carry a lot and you get a lot of AP regeneration. Now, you could boost combat to do more damage. Observation lets you see further. Agility means that you move faster and you can avoid attacks, and dexterity allows you to craft things faster. These are all super interesting. I just think these are nice and straightforward for us. So I'm going to say OK to this tutorial pop-up. And then the next thing we need to do is select a trait. So when you have a clean account, like this clean profile that we have here, you only get 1 trait point, and you unlock trait points for each profile level that you gain. So it's kind of like this is a roguelike in the sense that it's a new run every time, but it's a roguelite because there's meta progression. We're unlocking new occupations and more trait points, which give us, if I click on the trait pop-up here, you could see, like, right now I only get 1 trait, so I can only select these, but you could see going all the way down, there's some massive traits that can cost 20 points, and these are unlocked as you go. So there is this background meta progression, which incentivizes you to complete runs, and I'm going to tell you that if you die in this game, it is not, at least in normal difficulty mode, permadeath. It will let you basically reload from either the previous screen or the previous turn, which is incredibly generous, in my opinion, because it lets you kind of learn the game. Now, you don't have to play it that way. You can play it hardcore permadeath, I believe, if you want. But for our guide, we're going to be playing it normal difficulty, so that it's hard, we can learn things, but we don't completely lose all progress if we die. Now, with these 3 trait points that we can spend, it's basically, do you want to get double morale from drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, or drinking alcohol? Now, drinking coffee doesn't have too much of a downside from what I've seen. Cigarettes, the main downside is that you have to have a lighter or some way to light your cigarette, like a match or something. and alcohol can make you drunk, and if you are drunk, then you have less AP regeneration, or you have a reduction in AP, and you have a higher chance to miss. So it's up to you what you pick here. I'm actually going to choose alcohol preference. Being drunk isn't that big of a deal, and you can drink, I think you can go up to 8, I believe, before being drunk, and or maybe it's only 5, but you will sober up once per turn. One, like, you have an alcohol counter in the background that reduces by 1 every turn, and that will sober you up, and this allows you to drink, like, you can have 1 beer and not be drunk, but some stronger stuff will make you drunk. And if you drink it right before you go to sleep, it really won't be that big of a deal for you, because the drunkenness will wear off while you're sleeping, but you'll get the benefit of double morale. And the reason I'm taking alcohol as our trait is because it's the easiest thing to find. Of these 3, you're going, at least in my experience, you're going to find alcohol the easiest, and you don't need matches or a lighter, or you don't need to, like, grind up the coffee and craft, coffee if you don't find it pre-made. It's just really easy to find alcohol, so I'm going to take it, and I'm going to click confirm. And now we're set to go. You can adjust the difficulty in these settings, and I'm going to show you that we're going to play on normal, which is the standard difficulty, and we're not going to play on permadeath, which allows us to respawn at an earlier point if we do die. I'm not going to change anything having to do with the scenarios or the sandbox settings. I'm just going to play on default for our guide. I think it's fine to tweak the settings later when you know more about the game, but just firing it up on default is totally fine. If you want to play on easier, that's okay too, but we're going to do normal difficulty. Now it's going to generate our world. It's important to note that the worlds are random, so your game will look different from mine, but the overall strategy will be the same. Alright, game objective. Infected zombies are attacking people. Your house is still safe, but electricity and water have been cut off, and there are few supplies left. In your last communication, you learn that the surviving people have gathered in Terminus. Arrive at the Terminus safely to survive. Tip: you can get a radio and listen to the broadcast, or follow the railroad tracks to find out where the Terminus is located. So this is crucial, and this is the mistake I made when I first booted up the game, which is, when I was playing, I started initially treating Terminus like Project Zomboid or Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, like a roguelike kind of, zombie survival game where I was going to bunker in, and I was going to try to maybe build up and fortify a location, gather supplies, craft, bring it there, farm, do all kinds of stuff for the long game. This is not that game. This game is get to the goal to win. You're trying to win so you can build up your profile level, get more trait points, unlock more occupations, and see more possibilities. There are more ways to win the game than what are listed right here. But this is what we're going to be doing because it's the easiest and most straightforward path, which is to go to the Terminus. You can win by getting on a boat or a helicopter to escape, by joining a fortified house, by building up your reputation, by developing a cure to the vaccine, by killing everything. There are other ways to win, like you can become the hero of the city or whatever, but finding Terminus is the easiest way for a new player to win, in my opinion, and that's what we're going to do. So it's important to point out that philosophically, you're not staying in one place. You're going to loot and you're going to move on. And we're going to be on the move trying to find Terminus. If we can find a radio, it will be marked for us on the map. But as they say, you can also just follow the railroad tracks because, well, they're going to the Terminus. They're going to the station. And that's where we're going to go. Now, the way that the game kind of plays out is, at least for my strategy, you're going to gather stuff so that you can stay alive long enough, and then when you feel like, I have enough weapons, I have enough armor, I have enough medical supplies and food and water I'm going to make a push and just go for it and try to make it to the terminus. That's what you're trying to do. You need to survive to the point where you feel like I am ready to go and make a break for it, make a mad dash for the terminus. Fight zombies that are along the way. There's a ton on the railroad. And as you get closer to the terminus, try to survive that last push and then make it to safety. So this is kind of what we're going to be building up toward, and along the way we need to find tools, weapons, food, armor, or clothing to stay warm, places to sleep to recover our energy, ways to restore morale, medicine to heal our health and take care of other maladies. So we're going to say, okay. And the tutorial is on because this is a clean profile, and it says basic game guide. The game has 4 main panels: the information panel in the upper left, the character panel, the action panel, and the menu panel. You could check the information panel in the top left for the time, information, and weather. You could change the temperature units and some other elements of the game in the settings. And down here in the lower left, you can see the basic game guide. This is where you can toggle between your condition, details, experience, stats, and traits in the character panel. You can hover over everything to see more. You could see, for example, on the condition in the upper right, your inventory, your encumbrance, your weight. In the bottom right, you're going to see the game guide, which is the action panel, which is kind of telling you whose turn it is and what actions you can take. And more buttons will appear here as you get more tools. For example, because we've chosen firefighter, you'll see that there's an axe button and a little kind of crowbar button, because those are functions of the fire axe that we have. And if you didn't have that, those would not be there. Now, everybody has move, attack, craft, cook, and sleep, but you want, generally more functionality by finding more stuff. In the upper right, you're going to see the basic game guide. You can click here for the map or push W. There's a help menu that has a lot of cool stuff, and you can go to the menu to leave. You can exit, and you can save and quit at any time that you want in this game. And here is our character on the screen. You're going to see the red bar, which is our hit points, and the white bar, which is the action points that we have remaining. So there will also be tutorials that will appear over here above the character screen, kind of in the middle left of the screen, and it says you right-click to move. Alternatively, you can activate move mode by pressing the move button in the action panel, then clicking on a tile. Okay, so let's just talk immediately about what's going on with action points and how the turns work in the game. It is 6 a.m. you can see when we start out, and it's daytime. So when it's daytime, there is light, and you don't need to have a light source wherever you are. Whereas once we get to sunset, which is at 8 p.m., then it becomes so dark that you can only see what's basically immediately adjacent to you. You have a hint, and if there's a zombie right next to you and it's pitch black, you can't even see them to attack. You can make an attack, but it's at low accuracy because you're kind of guessing. So you're going to want a flashlight or some kind of light source. It's telling us that we have 14 hours until sunset, and at night our visibility will decrease dramatically. I mean, by you can't see anything. It gets colder and zombies become more aggressive. So nighttime is bad. If you can, it's ideal to find a nice place inside to sleep through the night so you don't have to worry about a light source, hyper-aggressive zombies, and the cold temperatures as much, but you can't always do that. Now, the other thing I want to explain is it's 6 a.m., and every turn is 1 hour. So think of it this way. We start with 20 action points that we can use to kind of move around the room, explore, open doors, windows, fight, eat, craft, etc. And once we're done with our action points, we will push spacebar to pass the turn, and 1 hour will pass. So we have 14 hours, or 14 turns, until sunset, which is actually pretty good. And they tell you that you can right-click to move. I'm going to be honest with you. I never use move mode. They suggest move mode where you can select this, and it's nice because it puts this white line that shows your path, and it gives you a whole bunch of detailed information where it tells you, okay, you want to move here. Well, this will cost 1.97 AP. It's 2.4 distance, and you're taking 1 AP per distance travel, but you're getting a little bit of a boost or a benefit to your AP consumption, because if you move more squares continuously, you get a reduction in AP cost, which is really nice. So like you can move a greater distance as long as you can see that far and the path is unobstructed. However, the consequence of doing that, of trying to take advantage of that continuous bonus in some situations, is if you move into an area where you can't see what's in front of you, then you might just walk into a zombie, and you really don't want to end your turn next to a zombie with no action points. So it becomes important to move strategically. Don't move out of your line of visibility into a new area unless you leave yourself enough action points to either move away from a zombie or to fight the zombie and kill it. Otherwise, you're just going to get rained on by a zombie or multiple zombies. Now, sometimes you can't help it and you have to run, but for the most part, I like to move a little bit more carefully. But if you can take advantage of the move benefit, then do it. Now, I'm going to turn off move mode because I don't use it anyway. And what we want to do is loot everything in this room. So, again, the mouse is your friend, and mousing over anything will explain what's going on with what you see on a tile. So above us, it's just saying, well, you can move here if you want, and it'll cost 0.9 AP. But there's also a kitchen counter, and you see how when I mouse over this, it turns yellow, and it's telling you that it's unchecked. So this means I haven't searched it yet, and there could be something here. To do that, I need to move adjacent and then take AP to search it. Usually takes 2 AP to search anything. There's also a table over here and a refrigerator here. There's a door here, and a window over here. You'll notice that the doors have hit points. If a zombie wants to get in, or it's locked and you want to get through, you can damage the door to break it down and get through if you wish. But your starter house is safe in the sense that there's no zombies inside your home. I have had zombies on my screen when I've started, like outside the house, but the inside the house is safe. So what we want to do is just move around and start searching. I'm going to move up to this tile by right-clicking on it, and you see it took away 0.9 of my action points. You can mouse over them to see down here how many I have. And then I'm going to left-click on this to search it, and it's telling you if you want to search it, it'll cost 2 AP. You'll go down from 19.1 to 17.1, and I'm going to do it, and look at all the stuff we found. So we found some water, some antibiotics, some beer, some one fresh orange, and clean water. So first of all, take all the water you can find. Drinking water is one of the bottlenecks early game. If you don't prepare for this, you need to have a lot of water so that you don't, die of dehydration or to take massive negatives for being thirsty. And you want to avoid drinking dirty water. So if you can find clean water, take it. It's telling you right here how much is left in this. It's got 39 out of 40. And it tells you on the tooltip how much it weighs, 1.1. It tells you its value for trading purposes. You can find houses that have like survivors that will trade and barter with you. And it gives you hydration +1. In the bottom left, you can see in my condition panel, I have hit points. I'm at full health, 20 out of 20. I have AP, which is how many action points I have per turn. I have my satiety, which is how hungry I am, hydration, how thirsty I am, energy, which is kind of like a reflection of your fatigue and is most commonly restored by sleeping. Usually if you have low energy, it's because you haven't slept in a while. And morale, which is just kind of like how you're feeling psychologically. The higher your morale, the better your regeneration is, and the lower your morale, you're going to get a worse You're going to get penalties, actually. So you want to keep all of these as high as possible. And I'm just going to take this water. Now, I could also just right-click to drink it. And you'll notice that me drinking it, just sipping it right here, it is not consuming any AP. And my hydration is going up, and I'm just drinking until I'm at 18 and my bar is full. I'm going to left-click on this to take it. It doesn't take any AP also to take the items. So notice that. But it does take AP to, like, put on a sweater or something like that. And it'll tell you. These antibiotics are fantastic because they heal the getting infected or getting a disease. You can get a disease by eating, like, spoiled food or something like that. And you can get infection from zombies or injuries that are not properly treated. So this is super important. We'll take this. Remember the beer I was telling you. Normally this would only give you +6 morale, but this is going to give us a whopping +12 because it is our alcohol preference. So we get double. It's +3 alcohol. I think I misspoke. I think instead of 8, I think it is 5 and above is drunk. And I believe you start at 0, and then if we drank this, we'd go to 3. We wouldn't get drunk just from this beer. It will tell you, after the alcohol boost, it will tell you if it's going to get you drunk before you drink it, so you don't accidentally do it. But I'm not going to drink it right now. I don't need the hydration or the morale. I'm going to save it for a rainy day. And this orange is fresh. It gives 4 satiety, 3 hydration, 1 morale because it's a good fresh food. However, after 89 hours, it's going to become stale, and then it will go rotten and be bad, and we can't eat it. But that's a long time. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this other water. So now, we got a bunch of stuff right here. And I'm going to open up my inventory by pushing I. And you can see this is what we have. We started with this axe. You don't need to equip it. When you get into a fight, you choose what weapon you want to use. And we have our antibiotics in the med tab, and we have our food up here. So this is where all of your stuff is stored. And I'm going to walk over here. Now, I'll use move mode and just show you. You'll notice also, of course, on the tooltips that it will give you the keybind for what mouse click does what. It's a very, very clean and easy to read game. I'm going to click down here and use move mode to go over here. I'm going to turn off move mode, and I'm going to close this tutorial. I actually do want tutorials, but I don't want this one anymore. I know that one. Now, I think it's worth mentioning, sometimes I do this myself. If you're, like, looking at the kitchen counter and you right click on it, you won't move there. You need to actually target the tile that the counter is on and not the counter to move there. You'll see how the move key appears when I target the tile and not the counter. Now we're at the table. I'm going to search it. And wow, okay, so we found a baseball bat, which is a weapon, some fresh meat. This will potentially give you a disease because it's uncooked meat. But we can take it and maybe eat it later. And here's another beer, which is great. So we have a lot of morale boosters. And I'm going to walk over here. Now, when I walk to the window, you'll see how more squares become illuminated. This is because I'm looking out the window and I'm being afforded all of the view range that this open window provides. Now, this is a double-edged sword. If there's a zombie here, they could see us. So you can get rags and cover the window if you want some privacy for sleeping or something like that, or just, don't want to attract any zombies. It doesn't prevent them from coming in. You'd have to barricade it for that, but it does prevent them from seeing in, which can be useful. And you see this white arrow over here? This is showing you that you can move off of this node by going to the right or the east. Now, this is something I didn't understand about the game either, which is every screen is a self-contained unit, and it's like a small square on the map that you can explore, and then it has different exit points depending on what your loadout is for your map. I'm actually going to show you the map by pushing W right now, and you can see that this map it's almost like a Slay the Spire web network where you're moving, and Because I'm a fireman, I know where all the fire stations are on the map, but I don't know how to get there. I am down here where it says current location. Now, because I have found that path, now this dotted line appears with a question mark to an unidentified place. And that's the only place I know how to get so far from the map. If you walk around the perimeter of the home and you find other arrows, they will then dynamically update this map to show you, oh, there's a place to the north, there's a place to the west, or there's 2 places to the north that you can go that lead to other unidentified places on this map. Now, dangerous places are exactly that. The Terminus is probably, like, if this is the railroad, it's probably up here somewhere, but we'll find out. And we're going to want to be moving north to get out of here. Avoiding this, most probably, unless we feel real great about ourselves. And usually in the starting area, most of these places are houses. Maybe there's some stores or whatever. And before we go, we're going to map out the exterior of the home to see if we can find some other exits and figure out which way we actually want to go. So, I will also point out a really cool thing about this is if I mouse over something I've already searched, it tells you what items are there or it'll say none if there's nothing left. And you notice how the fridge says I can search it, and this table says items none. So if the search icon appears, you haven't searched it yet. And then if it says items, it'll show you if you left something behind or something still stored there or none, which means I've already searched it. You don't need to come back here. That is so helpful because your AP matters, and you're going to be learning as you go in this game to really try to, move strategically to maximize your AP. I don't do that myself. I'm pretty bad about it, and I still do fine, at least at, normal difficulty level. So I'm going to click on this, and we'll search the fridge, and we find a bunch of fresh food. Now, all of this is amazing. Some of it stays fresh longer than others, and we find even more booze. Now, you see, yeah, okay. So I was wrong. It's not 8, it's 5 for alcohol level. This soju, if I drink this, it will give me +8 alcohol, which will make me drunk because it's too strong. However, if I drink this before sleeping, it's not that big of a deal. It also gives you less hydration, but gives you more satiety for some reason. I will also tell you, after your drunkenness wears off, your character will become thirstier. So, just, that's another element to the game. And I'm going to take all of this. All right. This door goes outside. I don't want to go outside yet because I know I have another room inside my house. I'm going to go over here and open the door and look in here. You can see my visibility. I'm going to walk down here. Okay. So there is a dresser and the desk. Expect very little furniture in this game. The furniture there is generally placed against a wall in Terminus Zombie Survivors. You won't find like tables and beds and stuff like that in the center of the room usually. It's just stuff on the wall, so it's just kind of how it looks. But we definitely want to search this and see what's in here. And we found a path to the west. I'm going to search this. And, ooh, okay. So we get another antibiotic, another aluminum bat if we really want this, and a wrench. I'll take the wrench. I'm going to leave the bat here. Now, why am I going to leave the bat here? I'm going to leave the bat here because your weight matters. And let's talk about that. If I mouse over my inventory, this little backpack icon in the bottom left, it'll tell you my total weight, which is 8.7. And it's telling me that already, because remember, my strength lets me carry 8 or under, I've gone over this, and now I have a reduction in it costs me more AP to move per turn. However, my agility gives me a reduction, but my inventory weight gives me plus 10%, so I have a net plus 5% movement because of what I'm carrying. If I carry the bat, if I go heavier and heavier, it's going to slow me down. And it's not usually the end of the world. Like, this isn't a deal breaker for me. I'm okay with that. You have to carry a lot of stuff, but you don't want to carry too much. Then to the left of your inventory, you'll see this little like bar that's appeared now. This is a reflection of our weight and encumbrance, I believe. And if this will fill up and up and up, and as long as this fills up, this is okay, but if you get 2 bars or more bars, then you're carrying too much stuff. So we're okay, but I don't need an extra bat. I want to trend on not carrying way more than I can use, and because I'm a fireman, I've got this benefit to using axes anyway, so I'm going to keep it like that. Now the wrench is interesting because you can use it as a weapon. It doesn't do a lot, but you can also use it to fix a vehicle if you find one. I'm going to move over here, and we found a zombie. How much AP do I have? Okay, so let's talk about this. So like I said, the inside of your house is safe, but apparently this is not safe. So now we found our first zombie. So what is this? This zombie is out here. And what this means when you mouse over the zombie is the red squares that have the 3 slash lines mean if you are on one of those squares, the zombie can attack you. The red outline, I believe, is the zombie's range of movement or vision. No, it's its range of vision, sorry. And if I move over here, then the zombie will no longer be able to see me because I'm outside of its vision range. And you see that little red dot, like that red arrow when I mouse over the zombie that's to the south of me? That means the zombie saw me, it acknowledged me, but now I'm out of its vision, so it thinks I'm actually on the square below me. So if I were to run away, it would come in here, but it wouldn't know where I've gone since it saw me last until it sees me again. It's telling me as a tutorial that tools can do special actions. If you obtain a tool, it adds a new action button to the panel. We knew this, that's great. And the new button it added was the wrench, because we got this wrench. I'm going to move over here. Now, I don't believe that this guy could attack me anyway, because even if I was here, because it has to break through the window first to get to me. So I moved out of the way, just better safe than sorry. And we're going to push spacebar and watch what happens. So this zombie, you see, is going to move up and start attacking the window. Now, it was unable to break the window, so it's going to take time for it to break the window and move through there. And remember, movement, attacking, that's all AP, and the enemies have AP just like we do. So it's unlikely that it has enough AP to come in and attack us. What I'm going to do is move here, and I'm going to search this desk here. We get pliers, which are a tool that are super useful, especially around railroads for cutting the fence. I'm going to take this, and we have a flashlight that is unfortunately broken. So we could try and, I'll take it to show you this. We could try and fix it, but it's busted. This alarm clock you can use to wake yourself up at a specific time if you want, but I'm not going to use it. And I'm going to move over here. I'm going to go to my inventory, and I'm going to show you that this tool right here, if I wanted to try to fix this, I would need some parts to fix this, and I don't have any, so I cannot do this right now. There's nothing I can do to it. I need a screwdriver, actually, sorry. And if I have a screwdriver, I could fix it. Now, you could right-click to try to see what it would take, but I'd need a screwdriver. So I don't have the right part or tool to do that. And I'm going to move up here, and I have enough AP to peek out. There's nobody, and I'm going to go this way. Oh, okay, great. There's a wardrobe, and we'll move all the way over here. And you could pick up stuff on the ground by just pushing G, and we can get this plank. So planks you can use for barricading a door or a window, but you need a hammer to do that. However, you can also use a plank as a one-time use weapon. It breaks when you use it, but it generally, you could just bap a zombie on the head and try to kill it. I'll take it. And you can also craft with it. And the crafting panel is right here. If I click, it looks like a little, hammer and anvil, or it's just C is the key command. And it shows you everything that's possible that you know how to make starting out. And if you can make it, it's white. So I could make a skewer out of the plank, for example. But if I want to make something that's actually useful, like a stone knife, I could make this with a stone or some rags and bandages. Or I wanted to make a stone axe. I would need this plank, and then I would need some tape and some stones to get that going. So There is use for carrying this around. It is a little bit heavy, but I'm not worried about it. And I want to search this. Okay, great. We found a bag. So this bag has a capacity of 12, but it allows you to have a weight reduction on your items. So you see I'm at 11.2 weight, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to put this bag on my shoulder. And you see now I went down to 7.7 weight, which is actually under my situation of inventory weight because of my strength. And now I'm not losing AP from that, but I am losing it because of my encumbrance. And so my encumbrance is 0.8, and this is because I'm wearing a bag. So whatever you wear boosts your encumbrance, and this is hitting our encumbrance, but that's okay. I am going to, you see how right now, I actually only spend 0.97 AP per distance instead of the 1.05 that I was spending. So we're more efficient because of this bag. And you can carry 2 bags, like one over each shoulder. You can have one on your back. You can have a fanny pack. And they're generally good to have, all of them. I'm going to end the turn. Now this guy is broken through the window. Once the window or door is broken, the zombies can easily move through it, even if you close it. So don't bother closing it. They can go through it. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to open the door, and I'm going to move up. And now you can see there is indeed a path out. This is one of the most important elements of Terminus. If you want to move to another zone, which you're going to be doing all the time, you can now see if I look at the map, I could go north, west, or east of this house. It takes a ton of AP. It's going to take me 8 AP to get here, and I only have 9 right now, and if I move over here, it's going to take 2.2, so I will get here and not have enough to move. This will happen a lot, where you just won't have enough AP. However, I'm going to go get this stone, and then I'm going to move. Oh, there's another way we can actually go to the northeast. So now, like I said, that might happen. We have 2 paths. I'm going to go over here. Oh, there's a stick. But what's cool about this game that you can learn to kind of work to your advantage is if I mouse over AP, because of my stats, because I took so much health, I get 12 point AP per turn. Remember, I started the game at 20. That's my max. But I was never operating there again because I spent all 20 or close to it the first turn. And then I'm only getting 12.5 back. But what this means is if you get to this square and you can't move to the next map section, I'm going to actually go from 4.5 plus 12.5 up to 17 AP next turn, so you can go over your regeneration and you don't have to worry about wasting AP, quote unquote, as long as you're not hitting over your maximum. So if I spacebar end the turn, you can see now I'm up to 17, and I can easily now go here. Now this actually takes more AP. It depends on how far the distance you have to travel is. I'm going to go up here, and it's going to say, okay, you want to do it, and I'll move. And I found a house. So I found a house, but there's a lot of blood everywhere. This means be careful. Something bad has happened, but there's usually zombies on every screen, so don't feel too bad about that. But what you do want to be aware of is when you enter a new area, you can see I can go back down to the south. Over here, this is a new path I've never been because it's connected to an unidentified place, or I can even go to the west. So if I look at the map again by pushing W, I am here. This is my current location. This is the house that I started at, and I could go back down here, or I could go to the west. I found some new places. What you want to do when you move to a new area is look at your AP right away and be like, okay, I only have 8. So I don't want to run around too far and uncover a zombie or something because I won't have enough AP to deal with it. This window is open, and I can just move right through this if I want, but I'm really low on AP, so I'm just going to move right here and see what I could see in the house or over here. I don't see anything. I'm going to move up one more. Okay, and here we go. So now there is this helmet zombie who's challenging. The skull icon usually means like it's a more difficult than usual, or it's a special zombie, and there's something about them. So this zombie is hard to hit in the head and kill, and if you hit a zombie in the head and destroy its hit points on its head, then the zombie is actually dead. That is one way, probably the simplest way to get rid of zombies. You can also take out their legs and their chest, and then they can't do anything. They're just kind of like a head and shoulders on the ground that can't move, and you've effectively disabled them. So it's another way to take them out, and it's probably the best way against this guy. Now, if I mouse over it, you could see the threatened areas, so he can't reach me and hurt me where I'm at, so I don't have to move. I'm okay right here. But he definitely sees me, and he's actually also unable to bite. So that's pretty good. So if we take out his arms, then I don't think he can hurt us at all. I'm going to end the turn here. He actually didn't even come after us, which is, he has narrow vision. He might not have seen us. Yeah, the red arrow didn't appear. He didn't see us. I'll show you. I'll move up here. This, you see how even here, it's kind of hard to see, but the red border is the zombie's line of vision, and then the darker red squares with the slashes are where it can actually attack. But where I'm standing, he can't see us. But if I move here, he still can't see us because he has narrow vision. It looks like only one tile. Now I'm going to move adjacent. Now he sees us. And you see how he turned red and he turned around. You heard that sound effect? That means he sees us. And if I mouse over him now, you'll see that there's the red pointy on me. He sees me. He knows where I am. I'm going to right-click on this guy to attack, and it brings up the attack window. From here, you can attack the legs, the chest, or the head. The head has this blue bar, which means it has armor. This is going to be hard for us to go through. But watch this. It's telling us how many AP it has, 2.7, how much damage it's going to do, how far we are from it, and how much hit points are on each region. The body attack, it says it can reduce its attack power. So I can't attack yet because I need to select a weapon. Now this zombie will not attack me back right here from this screen, even if I attack, until I end my turn. It's my turn. It does not get to do anything until I end the turn. So as long as I have AP, I'm going. And I'm going to just select my axe as my weapon, and I'm going to hit it in the body. And by doing that, because this zombie cannot bite, it now can't hurt me. It's basically been completely neutered. It is doing nothing. So you could hit the legs if you wanted, but you don't need to. I'm going to close the screen and just be like, okay, that guy's gone. Now he is blocking this bookcase, unfortunately, but even if I took down his legs right there, he would still be blocking it. So I'm going to, there's a plank, there's some scrap plastic. I'm going to move over here and search this dresser, and we find, oh, a blanket. Okay, this helps you when sleeping. It helps make your sleep better and makes you warmer at night. It's great. Scrap metal. Usually you want to take pretty much everything, unless you have enough weapons or you already have that. Here is a book, and it teaches you a survival skill. You would have to sit down and read this whole book to get it. In my opinion, for a first-time player, you're not going to be playing the long game and reading a book for a skill. Generally, we're just going to be reading for morale or to find a location or something. Learning this ability, which gives us a boost to nighttime vision, it's nice, it's cool, but to read 265 pages will take several hours. So I'm not probably going to do that unless I get into a spot where I'm going to camp for the night and it's not quite nighttime and I want to kind of line it up right. So I'll take it for now, but I don't plan on reading it at this moment. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move all the way over here, and I'm going to end the turn. And I'm doing this just to move that zombie out of the way, so I can come back here and I can then search inside here and see what they've got. Okay, they've got cooking pamphlets with some recipes. I'll take these, but again, not super exciting. I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to open this door and come into this room. I'm going to check it out. There's no zombies. I'll close the door, and then that zombie is pretty much sequestered. I'm going to move here and open the fridge. Okay? And at this point, you can see we've been spending some time. It's only 11 o'clock, so it's only been 5 hours, but we've done a lot. We knocked the arms off a zombie, we moved to a new screen, and we're getting hungry. So I'm going to actually just right-click on this to eat it. This boosts our morale, our satiety, and our hydration, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to drink until I am completely full, and I'll take that. I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to search this counter. Ooh, a lighter. Great. So we can now... you can kindle, which is like make a small fire that provides light. And you can amp it up to cook on it. It also can light your cigarettes. Flour, don't ask me how, but you can just eat this. And it fills up a ton. 10 satiety. And then lettuce seeds if you want to plant. Or you can eat this. I'm just going to eat it. I'm not thrilled about it. I'm not going to be planting. And this is another room in the house that we want to go to. So I'm going to push spacebar and the turn. And walk down here. Open the door. Okay. And go in. I'm going to just push G to pick up this rag. Having a rag is useful. And all there is in this room is this dresser. But I am going to check it. Search it. And we found some meds. This is plus 10 hit points. This is enormous. This is a very potent medicine. And we will take this and be happy that we can heal ourselves. It's instant heal. Okay, great. So now I think we want to just try to go up here if we can. And we've searched everything. I already have a plank. I don't really want another one at the moment. I'm going to open the door, and we did find another path out. I'm going to go get this rock, and there's another path here. So let's look at the map. We are here. Let's try to get to this fire station if we can. So let's move to the northwest. Let's take this path. And I have 7.8 AP, which means if I end a turn right now, I will actually have a surplus of AP. So this is one of those moments where if you need to kill time, you can just read this recipe to learn how to make meatballs, which we have some meat. So this might be useful. So you can just right-click it, or you can hold down right-click to spend all your AP. I'm just going to spend some AP learning how to make meatballs. Once you've learned it, there's no reason to have this pamphlet. I'm just going to left-click on it and put it on the floor by dropping it over there. And now I'm going to end the turn. And we're at 18.3. I'm going to go to this next zone. And it's another house. And there is a makeshift bandage on the ground. And awesome. So, everyone, I think this is a good place to end our first episode of this Terminus Zombie Survival's Beginner's Guide. This is going to be a series because we need to explain a ton about the game as we go on and, you know, seeing what emerges, what choices you have to make in terms of what to pick up, where to go, how to handle certain situations. And I hope you have found this to be useful and fun. If you have any questions about the game, please post those in the comments below. One other tip I want to share before I go. This game actually awards experience in a very unique way. I'll talk about this when we level up, but let me talk about it now. It is not based on, you don't have to kill any zombies at all. You don't get extra experience for killing zombies. In fact, you get experience just by spending action points. So by doing anything in the game, spending AP, you're getting experience and you're moving up to the next level. So you don't have to kill zombies, you can just avoid them or hide from them. I like to kill them just so I don't have to worry about them, but we will level up just by doing our thing, and we will talk about leveling up when we actually reach it. Anyway, if you are a Terminus Zombie Survivors expert and you'd like to share any tips or tricks for new players down in the comments below, clarify any mistakes that I've made, that would be fantastic. Just make sure you do so in a way that's not too spoilery or in the weeds for a person who has never played this game before and is just looking to learn it for the very first time. I'd appreciate that so much. Everyone, thank you for watching, and I'll check you in the next episode. Take care.